Alright, hello everybody and welcome to the second game of today's King of the Hill tournament. We have VonIvan, who is playing on the north side of Faymanville Approach. He is currently on his, well, this will be his third win if he does manage to win this game. 2 in the bank already, and he's going to be playing against Helping Hands.
Helping Hands going for Prostroop, and he actually made this commander seem viable back in 2014 with one of his guides on co2.org. And in lots of games played on his stream, so he's on one of his most favourite commanders. He's up against VonIvan, who's playing mechanized support tactics.
Yeah, this is really one of the kind of the coined strategies from Hands, and I absolutely love it. And the reason I love it is he really found a way, an unsurprising way of kind of just managing Soviets in the live patch, and this is kind of an extension of that. So it works in the live patch. We know that it's a quick rush of the Ostroupen. You know, they're low to reinforce. They are very good at holding the cover and houses on the field. It goes into a very early tier 2, so you can, you know, basically skip tier 1, get your light vehicles out on the field really quickly, get the Panzer Grenadiers out early to start getting the veterancy on them.
Very important point also is not only are they cheap to reinforce, they're quick to reinforce. So if Helping Hands makes use of these winter balance patch half tracks, which have a lot of shared veterancy and handbrakes, etc., loads of great changes, he's going to be dominating the centre of the field.
Yeah, it's an important point, and VonIvan's gone again with the same strategy before, so 3 engineers into the scout car. Now VonIvan actually in the chat before this game was saying this is non-meta, like maybe we need to see a little bit more of this before we call it non-meta, but 3 engineers into this, I mean, what's he trying to achieve here really?
I daren't say. He's clearly getting away from conscripts. He still believes, hashtag VonIvan, in penal battalions, it seems, mixing them up with guard infantry, so that he's clearly using those elements of the live meta but mixing it up with an M3 and trying to go from there. So it is still very cool to see, I guess.
Well, let's not forget one of the big important changes of this patch at the moment, which is the increase that in damage, I think it is, that engineers have. Pioneers have it, at least. Maybe you could just check the stats on that, but is it that the engineers have more damage to apply? If so, maybe he thinks he can get a number of these, he can cap a lot of territory early on in the game, maybe do what the Ostroupen normally do, which is just dominate some of the buildings. But the penal battalion is now on the field, and just typical of Soviets really. When you're playing tier 1 as Soviets, you know, you do start, you know, your army is kind of capped at the beginning of the game, and it grows into something bigger and more ferocious later on. So there is the benefit of playing tier 1.
Curiously, combat engineers don't have any actual changes in the winter balance. It's more about the other units he's focusing on that do have changes, I think. It seems that way anyway.
There we go.
Nice
Faust scout
goes in.
car. Just took a Faust then. Oh, second
and
one
another!
Yeah, that was really good use then.
He Panzer Fausted, the Panzer Fisted that M3 from multiple angles there. And it's burning asunder, it's wreckage on the battlefield, so great to see.
VonIvan's actually going to go for another scout car, so he clearly has got some kind of role for this unit still, even though it was just mercilessly taken down by the Ostroupen there. And there's going to be so many of these on the field as well, it's going to be so difficult for Von to escape those Fausts. But interestingly enough, I think to have those Fausts, it would mean that Hands has teched tier 1, which is not something I've seen him do in the live patch, actually. Normally tier 1 is kind of a skip. Maybe he did tier 1 as soon as he saw the scout car. Maybe he was watching the last game versus Paula and decided it was a good idea to have the Faust. Whatever he did.
He's up against penals and guards, so I think Helping Hands well-microed sniper would be a good utility.
Yeah, I think, I mean, he's the good thing about Ostroupen is just the manpower float, because he's going to have a lot more manpower available to do those kind of things. So, yeah, it's viable, but actually he's going in with the half-track instead, so probably going to be the Flamer upgrade. I think he built it when he saw the scout car. I think he's built that purely so his Ostroupen can have Faust, because without that, he is very, very rushable by VonIvan. You know, without those Fausts, really, the scout car could have just shredded his entire army. So I do think that's probably the reason behind it, and it works really well.
You just need battle phase 1 to get the Faust.
I believe you need the tier, actually.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Ostruping in a pitched engagement against compound engineers in the west. They're just outclassing them from behind cover. That increased rate of fire, the icon hovering above their head indicating that they're just going to outclass worker unit every day of the week.
Hans is brandishing this horrible pump skin on his vehicles. I always profess how much I hate this.
Hans uses some horrible skins. Honestly,
yeah,
he really does.
We have this. It's actually a lot of people like this. If I'm totally honest, it's not my cup of tea.
People. People without taste. Like StarCraft fans, people that don't get the historical context of the game and they just want to have fun. There is an option in the settings, it must be said, of course.
Yes, of course, yeah. That's one thing to point out, is Relic have very kindly allowed us historical fans to turn these things. Actually, this one doesn't turn it off, though, because this is a historical skin. And I classified this...
Oh, shit.
Clarified
something of Robot Wars.
Yeah, I clarified this with the Relic, and apparently it is based on a historical skin, so we do have that little element in there as well. But let's talk about the game a little bit more. Scout Car has just come on the field, so it is a Tier 2 heavy strategy from Hans. He's gone all in with this one. Munitions upgrade on the Flamer half-track. Scout Car rolls in as well. He's really relying on VonIvan not really having any AT at this part of the game. He's got to be careful of those penals for the satchel charges, got to be careful of mines because of the 3 engineers, but otherwise it's a pretty solid strategy.
It's going to be a very good strategy indeed. These two light vehicles have a great amount of synergy, and they'll also be able to protect themselves against any early vehicle rushes because of obviously the Fausts on the field. You would be looking to see Hans build a pack though to double up on his efforts.
This is interesting from Hans. He's actually pushing the penal battalions off with the scout car. I don't think he realizes that there is a sticky satchel available to VonIvan. VonIvan clearly didn't realize either, and that was a perfect opportunity to land one of those. But here we go, VonIvan has a perfect chance again to use this sticky satchel, and he just hasn't done it. That is an immediate kill if he manages to land that.
I don't know, have you seen the wind-up on the sticky satchel? It takes a good second to wind up, and he's on the road, so he can very quickly micro away. And obviously James, or Hans, has great micro, so maybe he's just evading it.
Certainly be the case, but I mean, there's been a lot of opportunities where, I mean, if the scout car is right next to that squad, it will nearly always get it, I have to say. Hans getting thrown a little bit around here by the MG, manages to... sorry, VonIvan getting thrown around by the MG. It's really, really good up this part of the field. He's trying to focus on that strategic cutoff, allowing the Ostrupen to go in there so that they can pretty much negate the entire right side of the map. And Von has to be very careful he doesn't lose that territory, because if he does, he's going to start losing the resource battles very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's just he's on that territory set. If he moves to the next one, definitely going to cut off VonIvan in base. You've got to actually feel a little bit sorry for Von in this situation, because he usually goes for Maxims, and they would have countered the Ostrupen so well. Because he's not gone for that, he's kind of left himself open, so it's a bit of a shame for him there.
I think there's still time for him to go Maxims if he feels it was really going to help him. I mean, at the moment he's losing his fuel resource. It's very easy for Hans to now lock that down with the MG, which he has. The range on that actually covers that point from the gate where he's standing. Sorry, from the wall where he's standing. Looks like Von's going to go around and try perhaps to flank the MG, but there we go, Panzer Grenadiers coming up to lock that side down. This is looking very much in Hans' favour right now.
It is indeed. I think he really needs to get the guards inside the M3 working for him. He's got to try and target the Flamer half-track if he can get to it, whilst the pack isn't on the field and whilst the Panzer Grenadiers don't have their Shrek upgrade.
Yeah, I think at this stage of the game, like, as well as Hans is doing, I think we need to obviously just take into account that it's quite clear VonIvan
here we go, in the sensor.
Ooh,
Guards are absolutely smashing the half-track. Main gun destroyed. 120 munitions nearly down the Swan. How is Hans getting away from this?
Wow. Really, really unfortunate there. But once again, where are these satchel charges? We're just not seeing any of this. And
so difficult to get them to work, it seems.
I don't think they're using them. I've actually been on the units, like hovering over the button to see if they're even attempting it, and they just haven't. And this is one of the things, is that people really need to kind of get into some of the changes of this game, because there have at least been 3 or 4 opportunities to wipe Hans's light vehicle game, off the map, and it just hasn't been taken. But nevertheless, Von is doing very well. That was a really nice little use of the M3 there.
He nearly
with the
lost it though.
PTRSs.
It manages to escape with a slither of health after doing the same to the half-tracks. A great symmetry shown. Both half-tracks indeed nearly died. And they're going to actually get a little bit of veterancy now, which is good. Of course, we've got the overdrive for the M3, or the infantry awareness for the half-track.
Infantry awareness, pretty underused ability to be honest.
It's nice though, isn't it? It does actually work quite well.
I think that's one of the good things that we hope to eventually see is people being able to use abilities like that constructively, because it's something that hasn't really played into the game too much, especially not in the meta. You've never really needed it, but you know, there will be upcoming opportunities, especially, you know, now with all the changes to stealth. Using those kind of abilities could be very good. Notice, by the way, there's a cheeky little demo from VonIvan on the strategic point, second one south of his base, so he's kind of going to be predicting that Hans is going to walk up there to take that strategic cut.
Speaking of which, the Ostroupen look like they're hell-bent on killing themselves. It's almost like they sense the opportunity to die. Well, no, they've stopped at the tree. They do smell something's up. Here we go. Ostroupen about to die. Oh, getting there. Oh, the MG stopped it happening.
Yeah, Von's not going to blow that. I think he realizes they're a little bit too far away. He's going to wait for the right opportunity. I think that may actually be something that takes down a vehicle later on into the game. Maybe it's not reserved for infantry.
Indeed be. It's always good to save your demo for a target of high priority if it's in a good area and your opponent hasn't seen it go down. We do, however, have Pioneers with the Minesweeper, so he needs to use it at some point at least.
So let's have a quick look at the match stats for the game so far. So both players pretty much trading equally on units, resources. Yeah, again, both players are spending pretty evenly. VonIvan is kind of stacking up a little bit more, I think, because he can't spend his fuel on anything just yet. But it should allow him, you know, when you can't spend your fuel, you end up with a bit more of a manpower army. Mechanized, of course, does have the guards, so you do get powerful infantry out in the field. But yeah, T70 is coming up in the build for VonIvan now, so this should start to bring the game back into a more balanced scenario.
A large degree of veterancy on Hans's light vehicles though. He's really going to be looking to accompany this possibly with a tier 4 choice, just looking to confirm that. He is escalating to battle phase 2. Maybe he'll go for the Holy Trinity of tier 3, or possibly wait out until tier 4, considering he does have his pack 40 on the field. The
dangerous
14 question struggling though.
Oh, actually gets the shot on the scout car. That goes down. VonIvan tries to nade the MG, but that retreats. So that's a complete win engagement for Hans. Now the T70 is coming down the center of the map. Hopefully he may be able to pick off the scout car and half-track that seem to be pushing up. And they don't know about this T70
it's on the
yet,
demo.
so this is going to be a complete shock. There we go. The demo actually belongs to VonIvan, so I don't think that would be too much of a...
I'm just saying he's on the demo. That's fine. I was just stating fact. The half-track's by a tree!
Okay.
I have Tourette's. That's a very private condition. Please don't point it out.
Okay, it's the last time I ever correct you on anything.
Yeah, I've got problems, man.
Yeah, but VonIvan is doing really well here to push back. He hasn't had the best of hands in the early game. I can't say the best of hands because it sounds too much like hands. He hasn't had the best kind of playthrough on the start of this game, but he certainly is pulling that map control back now, which is really, really good. The T70 is going to be a great force in that. Even though it's not that great against infantry, it will do very, very well against Hans's tier 2 light infantry build. But here we go. Hans is actually, this is so much like ESL. It's so much like the ESL game. You know, when Hans was just dominating the center of the map, drifting to the right, drifting to the left, when he played Love Nest in that incredible final. But yeah, this is going to turn into an interesting game. Ostroupen ISU, it's going to be late game beneficial for VonIvan though, surely, when he gets that big late game unit out.
Hans, as Wehrmacht, has a very distinct play style. I've always pointed it out to people. He tends to build a line. It isn't a static line; it's an evolving line that will envelop you when you push. So you push to the left, he'll position his units in such a way to soak up your damage and then counterpunch. He's been doing it for a good 5 years now, and it's a style he's developed, and I really respect it.
Yeah, he does have a very nice play style. I think it's the kind of intended style as well. Support army. You know, it also takes the best benefit out of kind of smaller units, and I like that. I like players that manage to show off the weaker units in the game.
Nice attack ground through multiple walls there, pushing away the penal battalions, burning them.
Yeah, this is a nice one. SU-76 coming in for some background support just in case that half-track oversteps the mark. On the right side, it looks like Helping Hands has detected the demo charge. He blows it up, so VonIvan's ace in the hole is now gone.
That's what I was referring to earlier. I was worried about that Pioneer finding it out, so he should have blown it up to kill a few Ostrupen earlier, in my opinion. Because he's up against a high degree of opposition here. Very high-level players, Hans.
I think he did have to calculate it because, you know, before those Pioneers really had the Minesweeper upgrade, it could have gone any way. So it was a bit of a risk, of course, to leave that demo there. You know, in time, you always know your opponent's going to have Minesweepers.
Look at Hans' teller here, very close to the entrance of his base. That is a great teller because a lot of tanks flank down the main road, then cut down the side road to get away once they've done the damage. So that may compensate. Use late game. Demo goes off, nearly destroys the Ostrupen.
Yeah, that was a really, really strong nade. There we go. Oh, and the Engineers just managed to get a final shot long distance there to finish off that Ostrupen. So one squad goes down for Hands. Now he's got a long retreat with another Ostrupen squad. Penal Battalions are going to run and chase, which means they're not getting that best accuracy here. Standing still with the unit does have an increase in accuracy to help take down those low health retreating squads.
One of the great elements of Company Heroes. Do you stick or do you twist? Do you pursue or do you stand still for one moment and just try to get the last shot off with your stable unit? Multiple satchels now. Only one's had effect so far on the Ostrupen.
I gotta say, I really do think this is a great game from Von at the moment. He's kind of pushing back against you know, what was a really difficult start for him, and I really do like that. Incendiary ammunition on the MG there, which is nice. Let's say, is this Penal Battalion picked up an MG42? Is that right?
Yes, he did manage to destroy that earlier and take it.
Look at that, SU-76, so close to the teller. It has been mineswept, though, by VonIvan, so he knows exactly what the game is. Von's going to chase into the base
here. He's going to go for it. He's
risky.
evading the pack. He's going for it. He's going to try and find the 251. He's found it in its size. Is it worth it to kill a Vet 3? Yes, it is!
Wow, that was really, really lucky. Panzer IV missed the shot coming onto the field then, but here's the chase. The AT is down for Hands, but he does have the Panzer IV. He's going to be able to chase that T-70 out. Unfortunately, the pack is blocking him, so this won't be the most worthwhile of chase. But interesting that Telemine still open on the field at the moment. Hasn't been blown up or swept by VonIvan.
He was just unlucky. VonIvan was so ballsy, he went into base. He had such a great game sense to know there were no AT units. Well, he had to evade the pack, I guess, as well. Which, in evading the pack, he didn't go through the tower. So it's just bad luck for Hans. Where is Hans' luck in this game, Dan?
Well, he doesn't really have luck in the game. I think he survives a lot on kind of skill and good decisions. So I think he takes these kind of moments on the chin. It can be very frustrating in this game when the RNG counter, you know, misses you an important shot. But Hans knows how to deal with this. Anybody who's played this game for a reasonable amount of time should have a pretty high tolerance for things like that.
Yeah, Hans... Oh, God, did you see that penal kill on the western side then?
You're about to get another one, though, on the Panzer Grenadiers. Look at that. Satchel didn't actually do a great deal of damage against the infantry there.
Well, Hans, as a player, has evolved over time, and it's markedly different in 2016, Hans. He was able to get beaten and get bloodied and then come back from it. And, you know, I would never count him out.
Here we go, interesting engagements here. Scout car trying to get behind the MG and the SU-76 taking shots at the Panzer IV. But now the scout car gets on the rear armor of the SU-76. T-70 is going to be able to pick up the scout car. I don't know who wins this engagement. This is pretty crazy.
Oh, it's terrible. We did have the mark target going. The planes flying overhead, giving the distinct advantage to the SU.
Oh, that was very, very unlucky there. The scout car goes down. One more shot from the SU-76, and that would have been a Panzer IV down for Hands, which would have been field dominance for the T-70. That hasn't happened. That literally got away with a slither of health. And I actually wonder whether Von is going to chase here. It doesn't look like he is. He's actually got the recon mode. No, it's not on. Sorry, he's actually doing the repair at the moment. I'm intrigued. I'm actually intrigued as to where this is going. I think he's going to chase for the scout car. Sorry, for the Panzer IV. He's going to lose it here, easy.
C-70's going in. It needs to evade the pack. He's gotten away from the line of sight, but there goes the snare. The Faust has gone in.
Yeah, and this is an interesting one. I think Von thought that the T-70 still had auto repair, which would have allowed him to repair that critical very quickly and chase down the Panzer IV. But that's actually something that's been removed from the game. The T-70 can now no longer...
Oh, he got shot!
Oh my God!
Oh, sorry.
Somehow
Sorry.
still managed to do that. Jesus, that was a misplay by Hans, I think. There, he had no real reason to drive it across that side.
Holy crap, he threaded the eye of the needle against all hope there. VonIvan has rolled the dice against all the odds twice now in ridiculous moments of desperation and managed to destroy high priority targets. Very ballsy play from the American.
Yeah, and it's only going to go levels up from here. I mean, the T-70 in the base. Now, the T-70 isn't as devastating to infantry as it is in the current patch, but as we see that veterancy climbing higher and higher, the accuracy comes back in, the AoE figure goes up. Slowly, we were going to see this thing turn into the infantry killer beast again, but unfortunately, I think that looked like main gun destroyed, so maybe that goes straight out the window now.
Indeed, this T-70's paid for himself, man. He's even on recon mode to take the mic then. I think he was trolling.
Yeah, when there's nothing left to do, why not flick on recon mode? But let's just have a quick look at the army that's currently present on the field. So VonIvan, after that engagement, even taking down loads of units, he still is relatively low on capping squads. Fortunately, he's got map control himself, but he's going to have to be very reactive because Hans can spread out in all directions across the map right now and micro engagements, whereas Von kind of has to be centered, otherwise he's just going to get battled across 3 different areas. Sniper on the field is certainly going to make work of these MGs holding the center, so it is a fragile game at the moment.
It's so hung in the balance. It's been such a great game that could go either way. Hans now has the precision scalpel tool out, the sniper. He's brought it out 20 minutes into the game, already got 5 kills, so it's good, well onto its way to paying its for itself.
That? The precision scalpel, did you call it?
That's what the sniper is. It's so delicate, but you have to be so precise with it. You have to micro it, babysit it, and it can work wonders, especially for a player of Helping Hans' caliber.
Well,
has my analogy held up to your scrutiny, Dan?
It certainly has, and thank you for informing me. I learn something new every time I cast with you. But this is, where do you think this game is going? For both players at the moment, this is, it's definitely fragile. Both players have lost a great deal so far. And, when someone doesn't have a definitive lead in this game, you then come into a situation where, they're just going to be relying on a couple of tips and, a couple of tricks until maybe they get up to their late game units. We're going to hope that Von goes for the ISU. That was going to be a great anti-infantry unit to have on the field against Hans. But, where is Hans going to go from here? Because he's built that 2nd Panzer IV, he's now going to be stuck on the Tier 3. He's going to be stuck on that Panzer IV kind of Ostwind.
It's going to reverse the roles of Wehrmacht and Soviet. So often that Wehrmacht is the guy with the elite armoured vehicle, the Tiger, the King Tiger if you're a KW, etc. And it's always the Soviet player that's using medium armour to flank it. Because Helping Hands has gone for Ostrup and VonIvan has gone for mechanised support tactics with the ISU 152 heavy assault gun, it's going to be Hans relying on medium armour and possibly going to be needing late game flanks to really toss VonIvan away from the centre.
Go, we're seeing waypoints being selected all over the map here. Hans looks like he's trying to spread out, and when I see that waypoint marker go down on the right side, in fact, that was actually VonIvan. I don't know what he was doing over there. He actually set a waypoint marker next to Hans' base. Hopefully he's not planning on having units run all the way to the other side of the map doing that.
He's being positive at least, he's looking on the bright side of being optimistic.
Yeah, no unit's that strong, I don't think.
And it is VonIvan, he's Soviet, he's just saying, here's your rifle, go into battle, there's the enemy base, get it sorted.
Su-76 hits the truck instead of landing a shot on the Panzer IV there. We've got the 2nd Su-76 just on the field from VonIvan. So Panzer IV in a lot of trouble here. It's really an infantry game. Hans has made a great decision with the sniper because really, he's not going to be able to push up with the Panzer IV. He's got the infantry advantage, but, against guards, penals, and MG, he's not going to make loads of ground, provided VonIvan micros the MG correctly. So the sniper is a great idea because he's just picking off manpower that VonIvan desperately needs right now to get his army back on the go again.
And most importantly, he needs 720 manpower to pay for the ISU 152, and it's going to take him much longer to get there, whilst the sniper is wiping squads left, right, and centre.
Yeah, that was a lovely incendiary shot there from the sniper. Pretty much guaranteed kill, and it's quick firing. Looks like VonIvan's had enough, though. He's trying to go in for the big push again. And 2 Su-76s this time. I don't see any AT lying in the base in wait. Look at that long shot from the Su-76 across the bait. Second one misses. Panzer IV drawn right back. Von has to do something very quick here because the Fausts are going to come in shortly from these Osttroopen. Oh, we can't afford it.
Very shortly. No, he can't afford it. The Su-76s are on a tear. They get the kill. They may even survive here, Dan. And that's the crazy thing. He's just used Su-76's deep penetration armor. That's madness.
Yeah, it's little things like that, really, that do kind of contribute to the game wins. He's taking risks, he is gambling, but it's the only thing he has left to cling on to win this game. Su-76 barraging the sniper position there, doesn't get lucky, unfortunately. But it looks like this Su-76 just gonna kind of enjoy its last moments before death by trolling the base. Otherwise, this is looking very good for Von still. The big pickups are definitely all his.
The trades are amazing.
He doesn't have anything for Hans' infantry army.
Let's talk about the economy of this trade. It's 280 manpower, 75 fuel for something that cost Hans a hell of a lot more. It indeed cost him 125 fuel, 350 manpower. So he's trading up every armor engagement right now.
Hans is going in with the second AT gun, obviously due to the fact that he doesn't have the Panzer IV anymore. I think that's interesting. Does he really need a second AT gun at this point? I'm wondering if actually bringing something out, or maybe a mortar, you know, to help provide smoke, or you know, just keep pressure on the MG. There's not that much infantry from Von, and there's certainly not. For what do you think?
He needs it because he's got low fuel. He needs to tech to something a bit meatier, possibly a Panther. In order to get him to that level where he's stored enough fuel, he's going to need overarching AT guns, because one just isn't cutting it. VonIvan's just bypassing it. He needs 2 layers of fire, deep battle, in order to overcome his opponent.
Definitely. T-70 again on the field. This is going to be... I really like this decision. This is going to be trying to harass infantry that are capping across the map. Hans is using his infantry very effectively at the moment. He's using it to go and get all those little bits of unprotected. But here we go. Faust instantly on that T-70. A second one kills it instantly, wiped from the field. And that was precious fuel that could have gone into the late game ISU. So Von... You know, by putting so much into this tier 3 strategy, he's pretty much denying himself the one unit that can counter everything that Hans has at the moment. And he was doing just fine with the Su-76, you know. He could have left that, you know, forcing Hans to go for another Panzer IV would have been great, because it means that there's no chance of the late Panther.
I hope you noticed there, though, the fact that he had 2 Pak 40s, that he tried to bypass it and go down the road to escape the first Pak 40. He went straight into the overarching avenue of fire from the second, so it paid for itself almost immediately. It certainly
did, yeah, an immediate result from that decision. Absolutely.
Just to talk, just do some quick balance note talk from the weapons balance mod. Obviously, guards are on the field. They've had a manpower decrease, but their output is now more leveled.
Increase.
You're right. Sorry, from 330 to 360, but a slight nerf to. One element, which from damage from non-vehicles reduced, but then they've leveled out the rest of it. So it's all about balancing and refining at this stage for the balanced team, it seems.
Yeah, and I think actually they decided that the implementation with that was that, you know, the guards are an elite unit, so they should still be powerful. The result is not necessarily to weaken them extremely, as, you know, is normally the way that the balance goes in this game. It's to increase the cost and make them less spammable, less abusable, so they are still an elite unit. They still perform very well. Interestingly as well, just to point out on the guards, if they drop a PTRS or they drop a DP28, they can actually now buy those back, yeah, so...
Just this moment upgraded another DP that he'd lost previously, so for 30 munitions you can pick up a PTRS you've lost, and for 40 you can pick up a DP that you've lost, so it's really cool that they've done that.
Yeah.
You are right, though, Helping Hands could have done with a mortar. Now this MG42's hit 18 kills, it's got its incendiary rounds firing, Veterancy 3. He's got nothing to get rid of it, except possibly the sniper.
I was expecting, I mean, I know Hans bought the sniper out late, so actually 22 kills already is a pretty impressive amount of kills on the sniper. You can see the actual value that that's getting straight away. It's nearly on Vet 3. It's just eating away at Von, and Von needs to be really careful because, I mean, he's already lost the engineers to that incendiary round. The only benefit really is Hans just doesn't have the munitions to deal with anything here. You know, he's not going to be able to deal with the vehicle rush because his munitions are being spent somewhere.
The sniper's got 24 kills and a penal battalion is 25 manpower to reinforce, so that's 600 manpower Hans has taken away from VonIvan. So it's more than paid for himself, and in fact it's 1.5 squad wipes in addition. And plus he did actually wipe a combat engineer, so that sniper's on a tear.
Well, here's the interesting one. So there's something VonIvan... He won't be able to do it, actually, because you can't now off-map in base territory. So he has no chance of using this IL-2 precision bomb strike to maybe bait the sniper into a retreat and launch that into his base. You can't do that anymore. So maybe we'll see this IL-2 bombing run, you know, how it's supposed to be used. Maybe have a snare on a vehicle and bring in the big guns to finish it off. It's certainly becoming difficult.
That Pack 40 then, to the left of the centre. At max range, he was getting rid of the Su-76. Hans was beyond the fog of war. He was just volleying shells through the Pack 40, and he did hit the Su-76 and push it away mid-barrage.
Was it on an overfire or something? Or...
It was, yeah, literally just firing at the exact edge of the full vision, beyond the fog of war. Really cool to see him doing that.
There is a very interesting mechanic in this game which we class as overfire, which is where you attack ground. Oh, there we go, the IL-2 just comes down in the central building. Doesn't have to take Hans' unit though. But yeah, the overfire is basically when you attack ground and the shot just travels and travels and travels through the air. And it's actually possible to hit things the entire length of the map with that. I've seen a couple of videos of people like, how did this panther shoot me from the other end of the map? I'm like, well, it was a complete accident. It was actually the shot completely missing everything it was intended for and just coincidentally hitting.
Did you see the tightrope one at the top of trending where his King Tiger shot his own squad from max range, missed the other squad?
Oh. No.
It was hilarious. It wiped his own squad because it missed the other and overshot and hit him. That was hilarious.
Oh, looks like VonIvan very close to losing a Vet 3 penal battalion there. Very, very close. Notice there's no flamers on those battalions, which is actually an option. So
only an option if you invest in Molotov package for 125 manpower and 15 fuel. He hasn't got any conscripts, so he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, a very, very excellent point to make there is that is one of the changes to the flamers. You have to have the Molotov package upgrade in order to use the flamer on penals in this current state of the balance preview. Oh, that sniper should be able to pick off the MG in the center. Even if he doesn't use incendiary, he'll probably get that nice last shot off. Is he going to take it? Yes, he does.
Oh, he got it!
Max range.
Oh,
beautiful.
Burning bolt of fire from the scoped Car 98 there. Double click ability, instant wipe, 100% accuracy with that round. So, most of all, Stormus, he got rid of the veterancy on the MG.
Absolutely beautiful there. Long retreat for the guards. They go down through the center. There's a huge miscalculation by Von to extend that far. I mean, you've got to learn your retreat lines, and I know that Von does. If you're going to push that far back, you really don't want a horde of units in the middle because it's going to play against you. So that was a bad decision there.
It was a bad decision. It's almost better to risk losing your squad, soft retreating it far you can to the left or the west of the map, and then hitting retreat sometimes, even if you risk losing, because you see top level players do that in CO's history a lot of the time. It becomes almost exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Soft retreating. If you're just hitting the retreat button, you know, just in engagements, you're going to end up with squad wipes. It's all about careful maneuvering. It's something that you normally see like DevM get away with. I do credit that to
DevM's notorious for it.
Yeah, I credit that to why he's so good.
One-man squads all the way to the right of the map sometimes, and then go on a merry journey until he can retreat. And the actual one thing to point out is the retreat paths in Co have always been good. It's the maps that have been bad. It's just simply an algorithm. Path of least resistance, the quickest way for the unit to get to the base sector. It literally does that. They've even got on they've got maps where they make units race around the scenery because it's that predictable where they'll go. So there's no excuses, to be honest. There's a lot of random stuff in this game, but retreat paths aren't one of them unless it's the map's fault.
Well, the current game is looking incredibly good for Hans right now. He's got a pretty potent army. His resources are back in. The fuel's coming in again. Still don't see a sign of any other tech, so he's probably going to keep onto this one and try and drain the VPs now. Von has a lot of VPs in his belt at the moment that he can play with, so he has enough time to build up his army, you know, fight the infantry engagements, get the veterancy up on everything. Still every chance in the game, but he's actually going to get another T-70, so 2 T-70s, 2 Su-76s. I know exactly where this is going, and I think it's going straight to Hans's base.
Yes, indeed. He'll pick his moment for sure. He'll need to get rid of at least one of the packs, in my opinion, because it won't work like it did at the start of the game. Now he's got 2 AT guns.
Yeah, it won't, and I guess that's kind of quantity over quality there, is that he knows that some of them aren't just going to do anything whatsoever, probably just relying. But I think he's identified that Hans is consistently stuck in this tier 3 loop at the moment until he can stack enough resources, and being stuck in that loop, you know, if you can knock those T-34s off the field before Hans techs, then you know, Hans really has no chance of going anywhere, and it gives Von more time to get that ISU out.
Just a quick moment to welcome all the new viewers we've got. We've got 370 and climbing right now. You're watching a King of the Hill game between VonIvan the King and Helping Hand that is challenging him for that title. And this game's 36 minutes in and doesn't show any signs of stopping anytime soon. So welcome. Here he goes. We've got VonIvan going in.
Oh my god, instantly the pack gun and the Panzer IV take down one of the T-70s. Second one taken by that telemine that was actually discovered so early on in the game. Von just apparently forgot it was there, and what was going to be a pretty awesome push instantly dies.
It was more of a massacre of his own light armor. He ran into the wall of packs, and then the other tank ran into a telemine. But at least he's got the Soviets cheap armor on his side. He can just rebuild and possibly repush very shortly, because he does have VPs on his side, Dan. 323 to 140.
He does, yeah, but things are looking grim now. I think we're going to see Hans get a little aggressive here. He knows the position he's in. When you see your opponent waste 2 T-70s, you know he's got no fuel. So I think Hans is going to be very confident in stepping his mark up the field. There's going to be MGs to lock down territory. Hans has 2 right now, and he may even go for the triple cap. And of course, we always say this triple cap is 1 VP drain per second, which would mean we only have a couple of minutes. I say a couple, it's obviously like 5, but we'd have about 5 minutes. It is
indeed based on a 3-second ratio, so 2 is etc. 2 is every 3 seconds. And on, but VonIvan does have 2 Su-76s, so he's not out of it yet. He can protect himself against armor. He doesn't have an MG anymore, so he can't suppress the mass infantry of Helping Hands, and that is the main composition of his army. So he's going to have to do something about that very shortly. Where VonIvan can go from here, he's only got 44 fuel. He's not going to be able to reclaim a fuel point in the near future. I mean, he does have manpower, so it is possible to get to him back tech to protect himself a little bit better. But that's all about trying to stall and get himself back into the game. At 300 victory points, he's going to have to do something quickly.
Very... I'm trying to think about what Von really has options for right now. I have this kind of sickening feeling he's going to go into another T-70, but there we go, Von's losing more units, this time on the left VP. It's actually penal battalions walking through this double minefield that Hans has laid, so it's just a dire situation now. I'm kind of going to give it just a little bit of time before Von actually just throws in the towel, because this kind of map control is very daunting.
It is indeed. Just to make you aware, I've had a playback over at my end, so I'm going to have to go back out and come back into the replay.
No, that's fine. I noticed that your Skype dropped as well, so yeah, that's fine. We'll pick up into it.
Just carry on casting. I'll pick you up. It's fine.
Yeah, no worries. Alright, so hopefully we're going to see Von make a last-ditch effort. We always see this kind of thing. It's really nice to see the top players still giving it their all, because he does not want to give away his throne to Helping Hands, and Helping Hands is going to be very hard to knock off, being one of the most powerful KOTU players currently still in the game. Of course, we do have some huge names still left in the community, people who are still playing, so maybe a couple of them are a little bit rusty, but I know that they're going to be able to give Hands a good run for his money. So if you guys on the stream think you can take Helping Hands on the next game, assuming that he wins, it's not over yet, but it's looking pretty likely, then make sure you do get into that raffle. But at this stage, I mean, when you do see that Hans is taking down VonIvan's base buildings, we are going to see the beginning of the end of this game. VonIvan is not going to be able to save up enough manpower for that IS-2. And what a great game it has been, to be honest. There's a huge early game push from Hans, you know, nice map control, returned by VonIvan. It's been very good. It has been very good. A nice thing as well, obviously, you know, this penal guards is very, very current meta right now, and you guys are seeing how, you guys are seeing that it's not the strongest thing in the world anymore. It's not as overpowering as it was. The fact that the penals don't have flamers, sorry, that's wrong. The fact that the penals don't have flamers at the start, so you have to get the Molotov upgrade in order to use those. It does make a huge difference. And I think one of the other things we found in the statistics in the patch changes was that when you upgrade the penal battalion with flamers, they also get given PPSHs. And what this does is it stops the penal battalions from being good at long range as they are currently. So now you're kind of switching the role of the penals, which is a really nice kind of thing to do. It means you don't have to go penals guards as has been done for so long. You know what, I'm really, actually, Von is going to give this a go. Absolutely no doubt about it. Von is going to give this a go. And, I mean, I can't really see it happening, but I'm going to leave myself open-minded at this point. Now, the Panther is going to easily be able to counter these Su-76s. Panzer IV should be able to deal with any infantry on the field going in and out of those engagements. If the Su-76s try to target that, Panther's going to make pretty short work of any of those that come in. The real issue, of course, is the infantry. Von is not going to be able to take these 2 VPs with the amount of infantry that Hans, and vetted infantry Hans is just occupying the field with. And here we go, guards coming up. They may go for one of the RGD-33 grenades. Doesn't manage to get it off before suppression. Very, very delicate.
Are securing our territory.
Looks like Von lost half of his sniper squad to the Austere sniper then. Here we go, looks like one of the final engagements coming in. The Panther rolls in, trying to take down these Su-76s. Panzer IV coming in to help deal with the infantry. Now it's going to be able to refocus onto the Su-76s. Mark targets on. Don't know if it's going to be enough though. 2 Su-76 shots left. Oh my god! Actually does manage to take down the Panther. That's very, very good situation there. And now these Su-76s probably have a bit of time to work on that Panzer IV. I think that got abandoned, which means it can still be repaired by Von and used. So taking down that Panther is a huge win for VonIvan. And he manages to get the middle VP as well. Absolutely lovely. Really great use of the marked target there. So many of those close range shots penetrated.
Taking our territory.
Of course, if you guys don't know about marked targets, it is, I think it's 40% added damage. I may have to check that value, but it's something around there, I believe. So every time those shots penetrated, dealing that extra percentage of damage was absolutely lethal to that unit. Panzer IV just not able to finish it off.
Our opponents are seizing a sector. Panther ready.
Here we go, another Panther has been called in, so it's going to be no easy ride for VonIvan at this point. Still just dragging the game out. The VPs are in Hans' favour now, finally, after a long, grueling mid-late game. Now Hans is closing the right-hand side down. He's going to have the engineers going cap, which means a triple cap's going to come in. That'll leave 1 minute Now, well, 1.5 minutes at this point of gameplay left. Man's trying to chase down that Su-76. Kind of blindly going into enemy territory here. I don't think he has any real clue whether there are mines. But he is able to go, at least safely know that there's not going to be mines here. He will chase into the base. Should get a long shot on the Su-76 here. I don't think he has vision anymore. So now he's going to be forced to cancel his assault on the 76.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Oh wow, did we miss that? Looks like these Ostjupen did a very, very cheeky run behind the base there to get that last Faust, and it did work. Great little play there by Hans.
The enemy is down to 75 points.
Oh my god. Sorry, I can't see my keyboard.
Ready for orders.
He can't actually read that, by the way. Sorry. There really is no kind of comeback from this situation here. I'm in a kind of mind to just call it quits, but...
Yeah, I'm not actually watching the game because my computer messed up, but VonIvan does tend to stick in these games even though he's dead. He has
He
an
really
uncanny
does.
ability to be undead.
I admire his commitment to winning. I really do. But there are some situations which you just can't come back from, and I firmly believe that this is one of them.
Has anybody actually ever seen VonIvan come back from a near-death situation? We've all seen Barton do it before, even Helping Hands back in the day, but I've never seen VonIvan actually do it. Maybe he's waiting for his moment.
Press on. The enemy has 25 points remaining.
If it's now, it's cutting it very fine. But there we go, he finally does throw in the towel there. GG, Helping Hands. VonIvan loses his streak as King of the Hill.
Nice.
Going to the lobby. All right, gosh.